Movie House Cinemas, proud sponsors of Conversations with Gerry Kelly. Treat yourself to a movie. Relax in VIP recliner seating without the VIP price tag. At Cityside, Glengormley, Mackara and Coleraine. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to Conversations with me, Gerry Kelly. My guest tonight is one of Northern Ireland's finest comedians. In a career that spans over 5 decades, he has brought laughter and joy to thousands of people throughout Ireland and further afield. Lately, though, he has been somewhat through the mill health-wise, so I'm particularly delighted that he's agreed to be my special guest tonight. Would you please welcome the comic genius that is Gene Fitzpatrick. Gene, it's good to see you. I just realised that I've known you for, probably all those 5 decades that you've been performing.
Correct, away from the Pope was an altar boy.
When he was an altar boy. I just realised about a week ago that I've been calling you by the wrong name for the past 50 years.
Correct.
You're not Gene.
No, I'm Dominic, unfortunately.
How did that happen?
Like you wouldn't go a dog out.
How did it happen?
My mother registered me in Banbridge Hospital as Dominic Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
And when I went to church to get christened, the priest objected, said there's a new Pope and there's new Bishop, Eugene Kelly, Pope Pius XII, and Eugene O'Doherty, and he said, we'll call him Eugene. And I went out Dominic and back Eugene, and I've never been called Dominic in my life except...
Nobody called you Dominic?
The clinic in Banbridge. But she himself said, Dominic Fitzpatrick, I have you down here as Gene. And I said, don't worry about it, love, it's the same one.
But I saw your passport, Dominic.
Oh, no, I know.
Which leads to all sorts of problems when you're trying to fly in.
Oh, when you're flying, and America and all this, and they're so uptight about everything being wrong.
Has to be so right, hasn't it?
To going to put you mental.
Okay, Dominic, nice to meet you. Tell me this, Gene, we haven't seen you for a couple of years now,
no.
And for a very good reason, of course.
Yeah. On the 17th of June, 21, I was sitting having a cup of coffee. I started talking all through myself.
Wow.
I was talking like a washing machine. And the wife says, sure, show me. I said to something wrong. I'm talking all funny. She says, well, you're supposed to be a comedian. She's a smart ass, my wife. And was sent for an ambulance. And had no dropped lip, no dropped eye, nothing to suggest except this, the way I was talking and the way I was feeling.
Yes.
And the ambulance I couldn't understand. And they kept me for about half an hour out in the driveway before they took me to hospital. When I got there, the doctor said to me, why are you not in blood thinners? I don't know. I said, you're the doctor, not me. And you should be in blood thinners. And they said I had a bad stroke. And
it was a stroke that they diagnosed it.
Oh, yes, I was in the hospital for 3 months, which was a long time. I have friends had strokes, were out the following day. And then I was in a hospital bed at home for 3 months. It wasn't out upstairs or to anything. And it was a terrible inconvenience. That's what I would call a stroke. There's some parts of it I hate it. Now, if I was sitting in the house watching TV and the wife opened the door behind me, I'd nearly jump out of my skin because the nerves were damaged, and sometimes I could cry at the drop of a hat.
Yes, the emotions are get
upside down
to the top. Yeah,
and people always said to me, "You weren't right in the head anyway," and I could laugh when I was told jokes. It used to be I didn't laugh at the jokes. Now I'm telling a joke, and I can't get the punchline out sometimes for laughing. And the doctor explained it. This is all part of this joke. Different people, different things. But I've worked very, very hard.
You have?
To get it. Adrian Walsh, my comedian friend from England, had a bad stroke.
That's right.
And he told me on the phone that his stroke was on the right hand side and he couldn't use his right hand to use a toothbrush for 5 years.
Wow.
And my other wee friend, Barney, up in Stewartstown, he can hardly walk. 7 years. And I have progressed brilliantly through being stubborn and determined.
Well, what has the journey been like since then, this past couple of years?
It was rough on the wife. When people talk about strokes, the person that suffers the most is the wife.
Family.
Really. She was doing things for me that she didn't understand, like working a wee medicine thing, feeding me, and the thing was breaking down. She nearly put her head away. And I didn't realise, like, I'm the one that's suffering, but the wife was suffering far more than me. And
what were you thinking, Gene, when this was happening to you?
I was thinking, what's this all about? Why am I so frustrated? So I'll tell you a true story. There was one night I was lying in the hospital bed downstairs, and I thought I heard the wife falling down the stairs. And I said, stay where you are and I'll come and help you. And I get out of the bed on the floor and I couldn't get off the floor. I was lying there like an idiot shouting, stay where you are now, I'm coming to help you. And eventually she walked through the door about 11 o'clock. What are you doing on the floor? I says, what am I doing on the floor? You fell down the stairs, I'm here to help you. She says, catch yourself falling. And she couldn't keep me up. Do you know who got me up? The fire brigade at 5 in the morning. The big fat men came in and they all knew me, like. And I says, boys, I'm not on drugs, I'm not drinking, I've had a stroke, I said below, and they got me into bed. There was things that happened, probably the medication,
of course.
Put me crazy in the head.
Were you frightened at all over all this?
No, I knew that eventually it would get better, but it would take time. And Adrian once said to me, be patient, don't be trying to do too much too soon. And a friend of mine who had throat cancer talked to me about getting the voice back and helping me and giving me the vowel sounds and the sayings.
Was speech a problem?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah?
I lost my voice. I used to phone up Pat Keown in the golf club in Newcastle. And Pat phoned my wife and said, Mrs. Fitzpatrick, will you tell your husband not to be phoning me? For I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And it was like that for a long time.
So you had to build up speech again?
Oh, yes.
What about walking and things like that?
And I started walking with a Zimmer. And then I started walking with a wee bicycle thing. And now I started with a stick, but most times I'm walking alone. Now, having said walking, if me and Joe Biden were in a race, he would win. That's how bad it was.
In spite of all this, you haven't lost your sense of humour. Although one could forgive you if you had lost your sense of humour over all that.
Oh no, I had nurses in the hospital, and they took me to the Greek Craigavon first. Then they took me to Lurgan Hospital, which was great. And the wee nurses used to come in and talk to me, and I had them sitting on the floor and laughing their legs off. And it was only the humour that got me through. I could see the funny side and everything, even in stroke, and that sort of got me through it.
Yeah. What's the prognosis? Where do you hope to be in the next 3-6 months?
On the golf course.
Is that
on the golf course.
What you're determined to do?
Yeah, I'll go to the driving range, and my granddaughter get a bit further than me. But I'm determined now. I go to the gym about 4 mornings a week, and I do maybe 15 minutes on the bicycle, 15 minutes on the walking machine, 10 minutes on the weights and things, just to help me. And it's working very, very well. Yeah. Now, I'm talking much better this week than I've been about a month ago. I feel as if I'm talking through my nose.
Yeah.
And that people say, no, it doesn't sound like that. So I'm improving all the time and trying to get better. And I know that I will get better. And I will get back to golf again. Now, it mightn't be as good as I never was.
You weren't actually that good even in your heyday.
Oh, no. Anybody could play better than me, but I enjoyed it.
But you're still optimistic, Gene.
Totally optimistic.
Did you ever think, why me? I'm a comedian. I use my voice.
No.
My voice is my career.
No. That's our negative thinking. The great Socrates, the Greek philosopher, said that focus all your energy, not on the old, but improving the new. You know, and I'm not looking back at the stroke. I'm looking forward to going down the fairways in Ardglass, or Newcastle, or someplace, hit the golf ball and have the crack with the boys again. And it'll happen. I know it'll happen. Now, I'll never be going to America again.
Right.
Because after a stroke, you couldn't get insurance. You know, you were safe with alcohol. But
Because they don't even know your name at the airport on your passport.
Huh?
They don't even know your name at the airport on your passport.
I know. The wee woman from Tunisia said, the parties are always the best carry on.
Right, look, let's look back, because you're fighting fit. You're going to get there. Without a doubt, you're going to get there. Where did all this start for you? When did you realise you had this funny bone in you, that you could actually make a living out of telling jokes?
When I was a wee lad, I used to tell my daddy jokes, and I didn't understand them. And when I went to school in Uri, St. Coleman's College, I used to count my smart asses to the priests, and they just thought it was a cheeky wee bugger, which it probably was. And that worked for me. And then as I grew up, you know, the local church or football team will look at somebody to compare. And I started with that, did wee freebies and things, building up their time, and it worked very well for me.
But after you left school, you didn't win the comedy straight away, or singing. No. You had a job. You had a proper job.
I worked for Maxwell, the oil company.
Where was that in?
In Belfast here.
And what was your job in that?
I'm not sure. No, I managed a couple of filling stations for them. One on the Crumlin Road and the Shankill Road and the Springfield Road. I worked at 3 of those stations. And then I went to Burma Castle. And then I went to Pedigree Pet Foods, part of the Mars organisation. Brilliant company. Worked you hard, but paid you well. And then in the end, I went to Boots the Chemists as a medical rep for them. And I really loved it. But I went home one day and I said to her, I'm quitting this business and I'm going to do comedy full time. Oh, she said, my God, you're a company car and this. I said, I don't care. If it doesn't work, I'll sell Bibles down the door. And I haven't sold a Bible yet.
Your dad didn't want you to go on stage, right?
No.
Why not? Well, what did he want you to do?
I don't know what he wanted me to do, but he didn't want me to go on the stage. Because when I was a wee lad, I lived with my granny for a few years. My mother was ill. And my Aunt Bernadette, Lord of Mercer, had me singing Slim McMahon's Rosemary out in the entry of the pub. And you had a great echo. And she asked me for a talent contest. And then just before it happened, she told me it was cancelled. And I never knew for about 50 years that my dad said to her, you're not putting my son on those stage.
Really?
You know, but when I did get on the stage and started doing it, but he was happy enough for that.
You started with a group, 5 Star Brand?
5 Star Brand, yeah.
So were you the singer in that, or what was your role in 5 Star Brand?
I was a singer and a bit of a clown. I remember how it started on the stage when one of the boys, Jared, the string on his bass guitar broke, and I filled in with a couple of jokes.
Okay.
And I started from there. And I worked it up. And then after a while I left and I went out. I had the confidence to go on my own and hope that I would get work. And I did. I did all the pubs and clubs and every hole in the hedge. And then I discovered the greatest thing ever. Golf. I loved it. And I started working golf clubs and things like that.
Yeah, I saw you at many a golf club. There was a time, and we're all guilty of this, there was a time when I know you don't drink, you don't smoke anymore, but there was a time when we all did that. To excess at times.
I know.
Yourself?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how did you get out of that?
Well, I used to drink. More or less when you're playing in a band, people send drink up to you because you sang a song or told a joke or kept their mates going, and you were coming off the stage and there were 3 brandies sitting there. Yeah. That was and the boredom of coming home and van at night, you know, you were smoking and drinking and all this. And I said one day, if you continue doing this, you need to go to show business. For show business and booze go hand in hand.
Anybody else tell you that, or did you come to this conclusion yourself?
I've heard it from many people. I saw many people in the business losing their business, losing their jobs, losing their health. And I just said, I'm not going down that road. And I decided to quit. And I stopped with a friend of mine. He's now dead, God love him, in Bannahan's, Jim Rice. And he said to me, your drinking's out of control. And I stopped with the help of a 12-step programme.
Good for you. And that was quite a few years ago too, so you've been off it all that, I don't know how many years now.
43 years.
43 years. And I think that is, because I've known you when you were drinking, right. I've known you off drink.
And Frank Carson got me off of cigarettes. We did a pantomime, and Frank had stopped smoking, and he said to me one night, we're doing this pantomime, he says, and I'm telling you now, if you don't stop smoking, you'll not get through it. But you're up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs, out of breath.
Yes.
And I stopped. Well, I can't remember the date, but I stopped. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
I've never done that, got the t-shirt. You know, yeah, I know how difficult it is.
I used to lie in bed in the morning, didn't want to get up, didn't want to do anything, and falling out with people. And the wife throwing a packet of cigarettes and she said, you have a better smoking is living like this. But I stuck it out.
Good for you.
And I had to, because I think smoking is even worse than drinking. Yeah. Drinking was easy to stop. You had a lot of friends to help you. But smoking,
yeah, it's a personal thing.
You were on your own.
It's me and...
When you think, if you take a drink, it's a drink. When you take a cigarette, it's maybe 40 or 50 puffs. Yes, you know. Yes. So...
I want to take you up to 1981, I think it was, and ITV, UTV, they were doing this Entertainer of the Year series of, and you entered that.
Yeah.
And you won it.
Correct.
And Hughie Green was brought over.
It was.
To present the... How much did you win on that?
£1,000 plus the gold check. But I'll tell you something. There was a wee man on the judging panel, and he thought I shouldn't have won it. He thought the backing group should have won it. And they were only the backing band. The one went on. And enjoyed that. It was tough at the time.
But was that the impetus for you to go forward to say, I can make a living at this?
Yeah. I remember that night, I was shaking like a bag of bottles. And I said to Jackie Fullerton of UTV, I said, Jackie, what if I forget what I'm going to say? He says, just keep talking about the weather, about anything. You'll get back on track again. And that was great advice. Don't stop, keep talking. And that helped me an awful lot.
Just linking that to your present condition, I take it you're doing a few charity gigs, I know.
Yes.
Is the memory okay? You can still remember them?
No, it's not great. What I would do is, I'm doing a big one next week in the City Hotel in Armagh.
Right.
For stroke people coming together. And we're going to do 20 minutes. And I've put all my jokes, one line, in my phone.
Well, that's fair enough.
The same as you using that, okay. Yes. And I'll use it if I need it, or if I get stuck. But I could stand and do 15 or 20 minutes to the audience here without using the phone. But I might forget to tell certain jokes.
Yes.
But I'll tell all the ones and place them. So it's just a matter of perseverance.
Absolutely. After you won Entertainer of the Year, things really took off. This was the start of the 80s, and you were playing all around Belfast.
Yeah.
The Troubles had taken hold at that stage.
I know.
There couldn't have been many venues that would have taken you at the time.
There was plenty of venues, but you took your life in your hands, getting into something.
Yes.
Really. You didn't know where you were. I remember one night doing an Orange Hall, now with a name like Gene Fitzpatrick, and it was Broomhill Orange Hall up near Myra. and I was telling this joke, and this wee woman was killing herself, and I just stopped and says, "Missus, are you laughing because I'm funny or because I'm a Catholic?" And the whole place went clean mad. And the strange thing about it was, then I christened her Orange Lil. And about 3 weeks later, I was in Canada working in Toronto, and this wee fella came up to me, and he says, "I'm Orange Lil's son."
Orange Lil's son. I have to explain, Gene, because people are now watching you, and it's a mixture between tears and laughter. The emotions through all this rise very high in you, don't you? And sometimes very hard to control.
Awful.
And everybody understands that.
Not everyone.
You see, there's a sense of humour, even through the tears, the sense of humour, even through the emotion. There's always that Gene Fitzpatrick sense of humour.
It's part of your brain, like that's
Yes.
damn all you can do about it.
Damn all you can do about it is absolutely right.
But it will get better as time goes on. Now, for instance, if I was doing the show again tomorrow, meeting you for the second time, totally different. You don't know.
You see, let's talk about something positive. And the positivity in your career has been, you're known for your clean jokes, no risque jokes, no bad language. You could sit down and listen to Gene Fitzpatrick with your granny, your granddad, or your son or daughter.
Mostly grannies and granddads.
Was that something you deliberately set out to do? I'm not going to offend anybody.
Yeah.
It's good, clean humour.
Once again, I'll take you back to Frank Carson.
Yeah.
Frank said to me, "Eugene, nobody's offended by a clean joke."
True.
And I said, that's a good idea.
But today, Gene, if it's not, the language is just serious now amongst today's way.
It's not nice anymore.
It's totally different to what you come up with.
You can tell people jokes and they're on the floor laughing. And instead clean. You told me one there. I was you. Jimmy told you. Jimmy Cricket.
Yes.
Which was brilliant. I'll tell you to the audience. The wife said she was COVID. It was negative. And he says, "You sure?" She said, "Yes, I'm positive."
That's just Jimmy Cricket. That's
fantastic. Fantastic. And I can appreciate that. The humour, we're known for our humour. I remember working for Pedigree Pet Foods at the time. Well, I had to go to England and in sales conference and present certain things, and say, "You get up and you present this, and we'll see at the end who's the best." And we all get up and did our bit, and the end of it, who's the best? The Irish fan. Why? Because the Irish have a lilt in their voice and a twinkle in their eye. And we're right. And a lot of us people, we go to England and we think, "Oh, they're from England. They must be better than us." No way.
Did you never think of going to England, at the height of your career? Because
I did.
Carson and all had...
Well, Frank's wife, Ruth, now dead and gone. I was ringing one day for Frank, and she answered the phone and said, "Eugene, if you have any sense, stay where you are. You come over to England, you'll make money, no doubt. But driving up and down them motorways, one night you're in Glasgow, the next night you're in London, and you're back to Edinburgh, it's no life." And she said, Frank's children hardly know him. He was phoned from a phone box. There's no mobile phones then, there's phone from a phone box. And the kids say, "Mommy, there's some man on the phone for you." It was terrible. Wow. And I said, my kids were young. Now, David Hull, great young fella, was my manager. And we were in Birmingham one night in the Irish club. And he said, "I've organised this to organise that." And I said, "David, I don't really want to do it. I'd rather work Ireland, north and south. Rather do that as we going up and down England."
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, that's what you want to do, but I've basically wasted my time trying to set you up over here." And a few years ago, David was on the phone with him. He says, remember you said about staying at home and with the kids and all that? He says, and now you know what you mean.
Yeah.
You know.
Good decision, a good decision. Gene, of all that you've done, you've been to America, you've been to Australia, you've done the cruise liners,
Yeah.
you've done it all. You've done practically every hall in Ireland, north and south. What are you most proud of in all that you've achieved?
I really liked doing a TV programme called Change of Heart for the BBC, and I also liked doing a programme for Ulster Television, which is called Country Style.
Yes.
And I love doing those, but television takes up an awful load of time. And the BBC one was called Change of Heart because it stopped smoking, stopped drinking, and they asked me to do this as an example of what you can do. And I remember they started off at Johnson's funeral parlour on the Newton Island Road, and I'm standing beside the coffin saying, well, I used to drink and smoke, and I realised I was going to one of these. And my auntie saw it, she says, I never want to watch that programme again. Stand beside the coffin, you know. But every day is special. You know, if you ask me a number of years ago what I enjoyed the most, I'd probably said doing the cruise ships.
Yes.
And said to me, now, I enjoy standing up and doing 15, 20 minutes at a wee charity. You know.
Gene, I can't thank you enough for being my guest tonight. It was a brave decision for you to do it, and thank you very much for allowing me to talk to you. We'll see you on the golf course very, very shortly, without a doubt. Is there one joke you want to leave us with? A quick one. Leave us with a smile.
Right. Paddy was in America and he couldn't get a job for his hearing was very bad. And some of the boys said, go up to army camp, they'll give you a job. And Paddy went up and he explained, my hearing's very bad, but I need a job. That's all right, Paddy. We'll give you night sentry duty. You just stand there with a gun. If you hear a noise, halt 2 goes there. If you're not happy with the answer, halt 2 goes there. Third and final time, halt 2 goes there. Shoot. And Paddy heard this down. Halt 2 goes there. Army chaplain. Halt 2 goes there. Army chaplain. Third and final time, army chaplain. And Paddy went, shot him. And he went over and he's lying on the ground and he flicked him over his foot. He said, Charlie Chaplin, me yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Gene Fitzpatrick. Put it there, Mark. Thank you, Gene. Thank you.